What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Hopefully we can make a sense of everything about Kena Bridge of Spirits. Now, there is one thing I really want to put in here before I talk about this game in general. Kena, a younger spirit guide who uses her magical abilities to help deceased people move from physical to the spirit world. And so that's basically what the whole entire synopsis of this game. But I think what really makes this game very unique from that of other, linear open world games, as it were. I really can't say what other games that are like that. I would say Metro Exodus is like that though too in a way, but it is a little bit more open-ish than Kena Bridge of Spirits. Now, what I really want to talk about this game in general though really is not just what I just previously put in an excerpt of, what the story is for this game as well. It has to do with, the gameplay is very similar to that of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask back in the day, which I have played but very little of. But I was very deeply impressed with that game overall. This game very much plays like that to a certain degree. But I think what makes Kena Bridge of Spirits so different from that is because it's made by an indie developer known as Ember Lab. Now, Ember Lab is known to make some really cool short trailer or short movies on YouTube. There is one in particular called Majora's Mask, Terrible Fate. And I do highly recommend looking that up and watching that on the YouTube, because it's a very interesting way of what Ember Lab has been able to do, not just with Kena Bridge of Spirits, but set alone of what they were able to do of making that short movie. And it was fascinating. I mean, it was dark and it was a little bit brooding, but I think that's what it was supposed to be, and I understood it. But as far as Kena Bridge of Spirit goes, it's so interesting, and I love this world. The world of this game is one of the most unique things I've ever seen in a game like this. When it comes to linear open world, I think, in my personal opinion. Now, there is one thing I would also like to discuss here, though, too, is in fact that I love the way how the gameplay structure is based upon. This game is very influential on specific puzzle solving. There is some really good puzzle solving in this game, and I would really say that it's one of the best I've seen, especially in an indie game like this. There are other games that I have played in the past, like Journey or like Abzu, which was an underwater-esque type of adventure as well. That was unique though too. I haven't finished it, of course, but that's where I basically get my point across. But I think when it comes to Kena Bridge of Spirits, this game it's fascinating. I love the world. I love the gameplay mechanics. I love the way how it just looks so unique and how it really differentiates from other indie games like this, or similar to. But I think what really boils down for this game is, like I said, it's the story. I love a story like this because I'm somewhat of a spiritual person. I really like to be a peaceful person most of the time, and this game really kind of touches your feels a little bit to a certain degree, but it's a happy thing. It's not a sad thing. But, there are some sad perspectives in a game like this, which I have played this game not couple of times, but a good number of hours in, and it can be very emotional. Let's just put it that way. But overall, like I said, it's a good, feel good and sad type of game. But overall, it just works in a game like this because of Kena being that spiritual guide and being able to be that peaceful person and want to basically just make a more vibrant land to adhere to, making it a better place, as it were. And I think that's why I like this game so much. Now, what I really want to talk about here, though, too, I didn't really go much into the core gameplay mechanics in this game. Like I said, it's very unique. It's very, very unique. What I love about it is the fact that you use certain types of combat to your advantage. You can be able to manipulate time with a little bit by throwing like a little bit of a time dilation bomb, by using these different types of creatures called the Rot, and you're able to focus on certain types of enemies that you are not able to easily finish off. as you see here, and it's so cool. And that's why I like about this game is that it's its gameplay mechanics. It's the way how you can be able to intertwine along with some really good, not just the storytelling, it's the fact that how you can manipulate certain types of objects in this game and to, make like a pair of steps by using the bomb, manipulate that time and space it a little bit. And that's what's really cool about that. And that's why I like that. And that's what I like about this game overall. But another thing I would really like to say, it's like, I love the creatures in this game. I think the creatures are very interesting. Yes, they are dark. They are a little bit foreboding. But that's where this game really shines for me as a gamer. And I've learned to appreciate more so for many years now that, we as gamers need to learn to appreciate games like this or games in general. And I hope that people really should take in consideration that these companies make the world somewhat of a better place for gamers to understand that, we want to play games like this, or we want to enjoy games as a whole, and I think that's a really good thing, in my personal opinion. But now, going back to Kena Bridge of Spirits, and another thing what I love about this game, though, too, it's its visual art style. I have never seen a visual art style game like this in such a long time. However, I have been playing on my Nintendo Switch lately, opposite of, doing a little bit between the Metroid Prime Remastered and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And all I can say is that Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda is absolutely amazing. I'm really thoroughly enjoying that game so much, and it's so... And that's another thing where Kena Bridge of Spirits really comes from, though, too. It's the gameplay style of that, but there's no stamina depletion, and that's another thing. That's the only thing I don't like about Breath of the Wild, but I understand why they did it, because they want to have that survivability. I get that when you have to specifically climb specific areas to obtain certain types of things or items or vice versa, that's fully understandable, and that's okay with me. I have no problems with that, but I'm just thought I'd put a little my 2 cents on that. But however, I think when it comes to Kena Bridge of Spirits, it just, like I said, it just does something far more unique from what I really thoroughly anticipated of a game like this. I did not know what I was getting myself into when I started playing this game. But like I said, I love games like this. I love the way how you can be able to manipulate certain types of objects in the game by obtaining certain types of powers, or what Kena can do with those powers, and being able to solve specific types of puzzles. And it's not just that, though, too. It's the fact that it's the platforming. I think the platforming, I don't think it would be... It's not amazing, but it's very impressive. Let's just put it that way. I think that's where Kena Bridge of Spirits really sets the bar for me. As, I'm so used to, like, playing the AAA, whether if they're, like, exclusive titles or like third-party titles that are multi-platform. But either or, I still appreciate the time and effort that these indie developers like Ember Lab, or that game company that made Journey and Abzu, if I'm not mistaken. And it just goes to show you that these companies do have their place in the gaming industry, because it's a far more greater way of introducing these types of games to a gamer minority, especially when it comes to gamers like me, or gamers out there that don't really like specific indie games. But like I said, I appreciate where these companies come from and how they can just put in so much semblance, basically a lot of love in something, and very passionate about. And I think that's where Bridge of Spirits comes with. I love the fact that when companies give so much love to their games and how they appreciate of what they do, and not every single game out there is going to be flawless. Games are always going to have their pros and cons, but point being, what I'm trying to get to is that games are always going to have pros and cons. They're always going to have flaws or whatever. It's always like that. It is, as it goes without saying, it's the same thing with movies. No movie is perfect. So that's all I can say about that. So all I can say is that in total here and overall, do I recommend playing this game? Absolutely. I mean, if you don't have to be that type of gamer or person like me, like I previously mentioned. You don't have to be that way. But if you want something that's going to be very similar to that of, a Legend of Zelda-esque type of game, I do highly recommend playing this game because, like I said, this game is fantastic. If you're like a premium member or something like that, this game actually ended up being a free game. I believe it was about earlier this year or sometime last year. I'm not exactly sure. But like I said, I do highly recommend playing this game. You will not be disappointed. So that's all I have to say about that. But anyways, to much further ado, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to reply back if and whenever possible. And you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.